Posting on social media is embarrassing. Not for everyone, but for some people, the cringe factor keeps them from posting altogether. And it kept me away for a long time. Embarrassment does not always follow the logic you'd expect. You might assume it comes from being watched by a lot of people. But videos with 2 views can feel just as humiliating as one that gets picked apart in the comments. Not only are you visible, but your lack of audience is visible too. So the embarrassment happens either way. If a lot of people watch, you feel exposed because people see you. If hardly anyone watches, you can feel exposed and ignored at the same time. And then there's a particular discomfort that is unique to video posts. Your face is there, your voice is there, your hesitations are there. You're not just delivering a point, you're being watched delivering it. Often before you can express it as clearly as you'd like. Hi, I'm Helen Innes and I help women stop holding back and start speaking up. This video is part of my series Speaking Up as a Content Creator, where I explore what gets in the way of putting yourself out there online. Today I'm going to talk about the reasons posting feels embarrassing. I'm not going to tell you to just push through it and post before you're ready, because that's not always possible. What I'd like you to understand is where the embarrassment feeling is actually coming from, so that you can change your relationship with it. Most forms of communication come with a built-in reason for speaking. Someone asked a question. Something happened. There is a role you're filling that makes it obvious why you are speaking. The social situation itself creates an opening and you step into it. Online, none of that exists. There is no opening. Nobody asked. You have to decide entirely on your own that what you have to say is worth putting out there. Nobody is going to give you permission to do it. You have to grant it to yourself. That act of self-authorization is something many women find difficult, and it rarely gets named for what it is. It is not a confidence problem in the usual sense. It is a question of legitimacy. Do I actually have the right to take up space, speak in this tone, present this work, ask to be heard? Nobody hands you that position. You have to assume it. That can feel embarrassing because even the most modest post carries some degree of self-assertion. You are saying, in effect, I am willing to be seen doing this. For someone who's used to keeping themselves to themselves, waiting till they're invited, that act alone can feel like overstepping. There is something uniquely embarrassing about posting online, which has to do with being visible while you're still in an unproven stage. Posting makes your intention visible. When you put something online, people can see that you're trying to do something. Build a business, grow an audience, become known for something, share something that matters to you. Whatever your goal is, posting reveals your movement towards it. And trying is an exposed position to be in. You are putting yourself forward before there is proof that it's working, before the audience is there, before the business is established, and before there is enough social evidence to make the attempt look, in other people's eyes, like something sensible. Early on, you can feel like someone publicly reaching for something that has not yet been confirmed as reachable. This is why the advice to just post can feel hollow. It skips over the fact that posting in an unproven stage carries social risk. If someone else does the same thing and it produces results, people tend to read it very differently to a newbie trying and not getting anywhere. Video is less forgiving than other mediums of posting online. And that is a big part of why it feels so exposing. In person, in a real-life conversation, a certain amount of human unevenness is tolerated and expected. You can pause, lose your thread, warm up as you go, sound a bit uncertain. The conversation handles it without it becoming a problem. Online, the tolerance is much lower. People click away quickly, and most creators know that. So there is a constant pressure to sound natural while being more controlled than natural speech actually is. There is also the fact that video hides nothing. In writing, you can edit, reword, create some distance between yourself and the message. In video, your face is there, your voice is there, your hesitations are there. The viewer is not just receiving the point, they are watching you deliver it. That matters a lot for women who are used to being seen when they are already fairly good at something. Content creation makes them visible while they're still developing the skill, which means the delivery doesn't yet match their competence. The embarrassment there is not really about attention, it's about being seen before you're ready, before what you can do on camera reflects what you actually know. When you post online, you don't just reach your target audience. The content might also reach former colleagues, old friends, family members, people who knew you in a completely different context, people who carry an outdated version of who you are. So even when you're happy with the content itself, it can still feel uncomfortable to be seen becoming the version of yourself by people who knew a different one. The discomfort is not always about the message. It's often about being witnessed in a transition, in the gap between who you were to certain people and who you are now trying to be. And because posting puts something permanent out there in a public space, you can't qualify it in real time or adjust your tone to the specific person watching. The reason it helps to understand the mechanics of why posting feels embarrassing is so you stop treating the feeling as evidence that something is wrong with you. The embarrassment of posting is not a sign that you're too sensitive, too self-conscious, or not cut out for this. It is a reasonable response to what posting actually requires of you. It requires you to speak without invitation, to be visible in an unproven stage. It requires you to put your face and your voice and your uncertainty on display in a medium that is less forgiving than ordinary conversation. And it requires you to be witnessed by people who may misunderstand, and that may include people who you don't actually want watching your video or would have imagined would watch your video. Acknowledging that this is genuinely exposing changes the shape of the problem. Instead of asking why you still feel embarrassed after all the mindset work, you can start asking what it would actually take to feel stable enough to post anyway. That's a different question, and it tends to lead somewhere more useful. Once you stop reading embarrassment as a personal flaw and start reading it as a sign of what the act is actually asking of you, your relationship with posting begins to shift. Not because the exposure disappears, but because it stops feeling like evidence that you're doing it wrong. If this resonated, you might also want to watch my video about why you're scared to post content online. In that video, I'll break down the different reasons why women avoid posting even when they genuinely want to. I look at patterns like overlearning, overplanning, perfectionism, fear of judgment, and the discomfort of being seen before you're ready.
Yeah, I'm brave enough to speak.